All right, it is now 6:30 and the time for the Murray City Municipal Council, our council meeting. So I'd like to welcome everyone, and all of the members of the council are welcomed, but present and accounted for, which is a good thing. Welcome, Mayor, and welcome all of you who are joining us live on the internet. So we'll get started. Our opening ceremonies include Pledge of Allegiance, but first I'd like to ask if you would all turn off your cell phones or put them to silent. I would really appreciate that. And now we have our Power Director, Blaine Hackey, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Blaine. Okay, so our first business is approval of the minutes for a council meeting on February 5th, 2019, and I would take a motion if there are no questions or changes on those minutes.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it passes unanimously. Now we're at the special recognition part of our program, and the Murray City Council Employee of the Month is Jess or Jessie? Jess.
This is either one.
Campbell. Jessie?
Jesse.
Chapel. I'm sorry. Oh, my word. I'm having a tough time tonight. Jess Chapel. And he is the golf course equipment operator, too. I have Kim Sorensen and Brett Hales who will do the presentation.
Come on up, Jesse and Kim.
Jesse, I'm so sorry. I know, but
We
not
like
by
something
me.
like that, huh? Come on up, Jesse. We, as a council, we started this program about 6 years ago, and we just want to recognize you as Employee of the Month, recommended by your Kim Sorensen and Dave Kruth. But we started this program. We just want to recognize the employees. So there's a certificate for you, and in there, oh no, in here is the $50 gift card. That's where. Now I don't know if you get to keep this or if that goes somewhere else. Does that go to you or someone else? All right, we'll see. I just want to make sure. Anyway, we appreciate you for all you do, and I know you've been here 15 years, about? Yeah. 15 years. So that's a long time, and we appreciate your dedication as an employee. And so from the council, we want to give appreciation to you and your family that's here with you. So.
So let me tell you a little bit about Jesse. As you know, Murray City has some wonderful employees, but tonight you're really recognizing one of the best. Jesse has worked for the golf course for 15 years now. He just received his 15-year service award. Jesse, Dave Caruth calls his go-to guy. As you can imagine, the golf course has a lot of specialized equipment. When that equipment breaks down, there's two things. It's costly to repair, and then oftentimes it takes a long time to repair it. But Jesse has shown himself that shown us that he is the guy that can repair anything. If he doesn't know anything about one of the pieces of equipment that goes down, he will learn and repair that equipment most times quicker than we can put it on a trailer and take it to be repaired. So, and then if he's not doing that, again, he's an equipment operator and helps with the maintenance throughout the golf course. Jesse lives up in Hoytsville, and if you don't know where Hoytsville is, which I didn't either, it's up by Wanship. And to tell you what kind of an employee Jesse is, a few weeks ago, the school districts, I think all of them in the valley closed down because of a snowstorm. Many employees were late. Many employees may not have shown up. Not Jesse. He was here that day and ready for work. to go one step further and tell you what kind of a person Jesse is, the golf course staff says that Jesse is the first one there to help them with whatever it is they're doing. Even if it's something in their own lives or at home, he's the first one at their home to help them pour concrete or do things at their house. However, they tell me that they can't get him to come to barbecues. So, very, very, very well-deserving employee, and again, one of Murray's best. So,
thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm lucky. I've got a wonderful family. I've got my dad here, Tom, my wonderful wife, Mary, and our little boy, Will. So I appreciate Murray City. It's been a wonderful job, and I'm very lucky and blessed and appreciate the good guys I work with. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jesse. We really appreciate your service. All right, now we're at citizen comments, and this is the time when the citizens are able to come and speak to the council. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. And if you would step to the microphone, state your name and city of residence, and fill out the required form. So we also have a public hearing, but this is not the time for that. This is for citizen comments on whatever else you might want to talk with us. So, yes? I don't think so.
I've been here before, so I know all you, the people on this side of the room know who I am, but I want to speak to the people over here and the people on camera. I don't know where the camera is. I'm Allison, and I'm with NeighborWorks Salt Lake here. I'm over here on Poplar Street here in Murray, and we're a nonprofit organization, and we focus on neighborhood revitalization. We can help people get into their first homes, low to median income families. If they're struggling to get into a home and they want to get into a home, we can help them do that. We can help them get some low interest loans. We also do a lot of home improvement. We even have some grant money. We are federally funded. We do get some money from Murray City as well. And we can help with some home improvement and things like that you need around your house. I don't know if you've got a rundown house and maybe your parents or your grandparents are in a place that's run down. They don't have the money to fix it. We can either give them some low interest loans or grant money to help them with that. So we're having an open house tomorrow. We'd love it if the citizens and the employees of Murray could come by and just find out what we're all about and what we do. I have some flyers, and I'll leave these. Find me after and I'll give you a flyer, but I'd love it if you come by and see what we can do for you and see what we can do to help the residents of Murray, because Murray's a great place and we're really happy to be a part of it. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other people here for citizen comments? I see none, so we'll continue on. And now, let's see, we're at the public hearings portion. So I'll read the resolution. It is consider a resolution approving the donation of in-kind services to the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority's Light Up Navajo Initiative Project. And I have Blaine Hackey and Bruce Turner here to do the presentation.
Thank you, Diane. I've asked Bruce to be here because he's the one that's nuts and bolts behind this and has one that's pushed this from day one. This is a Light Up Navajo Initiative project. You are fully aware of it. We spent some time in the Committee of the Whole meeting with you, and also I mentioned it this just a minute ago in the Committee of the Whole. This is a project that's been taken on nationally by the Navajo tribe, NTUA. It's a 6-week project, and it consists of 5 crews or 6 crews each of those weeks. We're one crew. We're a crew of 4 that we want to send, and it will be the last week of the project. Beginning April 6th is when the first group goes down, and they'll stay there for a week, and then the next group, and next group, and next group. Our group's planning on going down May 11th through the 18th. We have an assigned place to go. We have an assigned area. There are other groups that will be down there from Illinois and Ohio, Arizona, Oklahoma, New Mexico, California, Delaware, Texas, Arkansas, Massachusetts, and Utah. The cities in Utah that are participating are Murray, of course, Santa Clara, Washington City, St. George, and Heber City. To our knowledge, we're the only city that's sending a crew of 4 down with equipment. They will work a 7 to 7 hour workday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and they will be blessed with a recognition dinner at the end of their week. It'll be a hard week for them. They'll be placing poles, stringing conductors, and the goal is to get electricity to the last hogan. And some of these people, and tens of thousands of Native Americans, have not had the luxury of electricity before. And that is the whole service project or initiative behind this. We are assigned, I don't know the area much at all, but it's Tuba City is the district area. And we will work in group in Coppermine, Caibero, and Leche. Our guys are excited to go, and we are excited for this resolution to be passed. I've asked Bruce to come. Bruce is their operations manager. He is their boss. And I wanted him to talk a little about his feelings behind this project, and maybe a little bit about what his guys think about this. And with that, I'll turn the time over to you, and then we'll be ready for the resolution vote, I guess. So, Bruce, thank you for coming.
Council, excuse me, thanks for even talking to us about this. I know we've talked a couple times about it. The guys, as I've told you before, are super, super excited. I asked for 2 guys to volunteer. We had 8. Almost every one of our guys volunteered. Just the willingness to go help people that have never been helped before is just, it's something that they really love to do. So anyway, we will be taking a line truck, a bucket truck, and a crew truck down. We'll park the line truck and bucket truck in Page, Arizona, on the way down to Window Rock, Mexico. That's where they need to meet Sunday for a briefing Sunday morning. And then they can drive back to Page, pick up the trucks, and go to Tuba City. Blaine asked me to talk about the mutual aid agreement a little bit. The mutual aid agreement is kind of just like the same one we have with IPSA, except for we won't get paid back for anything. We'll just supply time and equipment, and that'll be it. They'll supply all the material and the hotels. So that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any questions or concerns? Anything I can clear up?
Okay.
Dang.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thanks, Bruce.
Okay, since this is a public hearing, I will open it for public comment. And if there's anyone that would like to speak, if you would fill out the public comment form and turn it into Jan Lopez, step to the microphone and direct the comments to the council, state your name and address, and make your comments. You have 3 minutes. Okay. Seeing no comments, I will close the public comment period and put it to the council. But first, GL, did you have a comment that you wanted to make?
I think I've spoken to Power and several others about this issue, and that is anytime the city does work like this, whether it's for pay or whether it's a donation, there's always a risk. So we're working to minimize that risk in terms of having them go out of state and perform this work. There's a ways out, so we have some time to work on that, but I want to make sure that we can minimize risk to the city and to these workers as much as we can.
Okay. Thank you, GL. Now I'll put it to the council for any questions that you have for Blaine. Or,
Prepared to make a motion if you want to entertain that, Chairperson.
okay, are there no comments from the council? Okay, then I will certainly.
Other than it's Kaibatol, and you didn't get close enough to the other two for me to even figure out where it is.
I was going to ask you if you knew those.
Yeah, you got Tuba right.
Also, Bruce or Blaine, do you have any other comments you wanted to make?
Okay, Blaine wanted me to mention who is going. Justin Larson will be the foreman going. Eric Bracewell will be one of the journeymen going. Victor Meza will be going, and Tyler. What's Tyler's last name? He's brand new. I know. What's going on? Our brand new apprentice. Tyler Kirkham. Sorry, Tyler Kirkham will
Good.
be going. So.
Good crew.
Great, thank you. I think I'm so glad we're able to do this. I think it's really wonderful, wonderful for Murray, and wonderful for the reservation. So, thanks for doing that. With that, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to approve a resolution for the donation of in-kind services to the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority's Light Up Navajo initiative.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion on the motion? All right. Jennifer, would you call the roll?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you, Council. All right, now we're to the business items portion of our agenda, and the first one is to consider a resolution adopting the 2019 Storm Drainage Master Plan update, also referred to as Storm Drain Capital Facilities Plan. Danny Astle.
Thank you, Council. Appreciate the time this evening. So we call this a stormwater master plan, but I just want to speak to that for a second because an overall master plan includes a little bit more than just the drainage plan. What this one is just the drainage portion itself. And so I just want to kind of go over a couple of details there. In the executive summary, it talks about the number of acres that we're trying to deal with. And so we're talking about 7,800 acres that we're trying to drain, and it's a difficult, it's kind of difficult. The good thing about it is there's a 230-foot elevation change from the top of the city to the river, basically to the bottom part of our city, and so that's what we have good going for us. But along with that comes some natural drainage areas like the rivers, and there's irrigation ditches along the way. But storm drainage is a little more difficult to deal with when in comparison to sewer lines, which are they're known flows. You can depend on them. They're pretty solid. And the same thing is with our water system. You know, you can depend on certain amount of flow going through the lines. But in this case, you just don't know what the storm is going to be like. And so we try to plan the best that we can. And so with the help of our consultant and our staff, we put together this plan. And we try to do this every 5 to 7 years to try to keep a plan moving forward, to make the changes, to make tweaks in the system, to know where we need to concentrate on to deal with problems. We know that there's a lot of problems, and money can fix those, but we know that that's not always a thing that's going to be available to us, all the money that's necessary, and so we have to prioritize those, and we've made that in that plan as well. So what you're looking at tonight is just, we've met with you before and talked about this, and I'd be glad to answer any questions this evening, but what it is we would like to adopt this plan and move forward, and then in a few months we'll be back talking about the funding mechanism and what that needs to look like.
Great. Are there any questions for Danny at this point from the council? Okay, then I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve a resolution adopting the 2019 Storm Drainage Master Plan update, also referred to as the Storm Drain Capital Facilities Plan.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, Jennifer, call the roll, please.
Aye.
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 Aye. All right, our next business item is to consider an ordinance amending section 2.09.080, comma 2.09.150, and 2.09.160 of the Murray City Municipal Code, removing references to a Justice Court Administrator. GL.
Thank you. This is a result of the retirement of our court administrator. It was decided that that we could do without a court administrator, and so the administrative responsibilities have been divided between the judge doing the budget and the senior court clerk, and that's pretty typical. That's a common division of labor. So it's pretty simple. Unless you have questions, that's all I've got.
Okay, any questions for GL? All right, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion we adopt the ordinance amending those sections in section 209 that you just read, because I'm not going to read them all again.
Don't blame me.
Removing references to the Justice Court Administrator.
I'll second that.
Okay, Jennifer.
Aye.
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 Aye. All right, our third is to consider an ordinance amending various sections of the Murray City Municipal Code related to restructuring the ADS department as detailed in the proposed ordinance. And I think it's been modified or amended. Anyway, GL?
This is one we talked about at a committee of the whole, and I think, to begin with, I think the mayor had a few things he wanted to say before I go through the ordinance
Okay.
itself.
Mayor.
Okay, thank you. These were the changes that were presented and discussed in the Committee of the Whole on February 5th, 2 weeks ago. And this is, as we discussed, this is the final piece of the restructuring that we've been working on for the past several months. And a significant part of this restructuring is to adjust and fine-tune some of our divisions. And as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, the accounting division is only slightly modified to include the treasurer. The recorder division is basically unchanged, except that it's no longer reports to the ADS department since it no longer exists, but rather reports to Finance and Administration, or is part of Finance and Administration. Under this reorganization, the Human Resources Department will become a division under the direction of a qualified human resources manager. The major advantages of these changes will be the breaking down of silos between divisions that were previously in different departments, yet have overlapping duties and overlapping responsibilities. For example, accounting, utility, billing, purchasing, human resources, and the recorder under this plan will now be able to collaborate in regular staff meetings within a single department. A considerable amount of the services provided by human resources are supported by finance, such as payroll, benefits, and compensation analysis. And it's to the advantage of the HR personnel to be a part of a larger department. That's why it's an emerging trend for HR to be part of a finance department, especially in organizations with small HR operations like we have here in Murray. I anticipate these changes will improve efficiency and save taxpayer money, and are in alignment with the goals that I mentioned last meeting in the State of the City address, that goal being continuous improvement. So I'm asking the council to approve these changes as they were presented at the Committee of the Whole 2 weeks ago.
Okay. GL.
This isn't, these are amendments that cover many different provisions of the code. And I think the first question I would like to ask each of you is, do you want me to go through each change individually? I'm happy to do that if you'd like me to do that. Or I can field questions, whatever you want.
What does the council, what do you want?
We've been through it.
Yeah, I think,
It's on the record of the committee of the whole, but we can certainly go through some of these changes if you'd like.
We don't need to.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think,
I appreciate making those changes we asked you to last week as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was added, that's right. That was in the record section, or the finance, I believe, wasn't it? Yeah. There's one other thing that's kind of a cleanup that I came across that I don't know that it needs to be changed, but it would make it more clear. It's in the 2.20.030 of the recorder division. It's under C2, and it says attending the meetings and maintaining the official record of the proceedings of the meeting. If you want to make that more clear, it could say attending city council meetings and maintaining the official record of the proceedings of that meeting. That's in the
What point what? I know
2.20.030,
Okay.
and it's subparagraph C and 2.
okay, and I mentioned that there was also had been requested from the council some changes. So should we address those at this time?
Yeah, unless you have other questions for me, you should definitely discuss.
Okay.
And
So before getting into that, you said on that C number 2 to add city council to that?
yeah,
Just to clarify, and I think
clarify,
that's
that's
fine.
just a cleanup
Yeah, I
provision,
think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, council? Do you want to make a motion to begin with?
I'll make a motion that we move approval of the ordinance amending various sections of the Murray City Municipal Code related to restructuring the ADS department with the amendments to leave Chapter 2.23 Human Resources Department as currently set up in the city code.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Is there discussion?
I just want to, I think it's important that the HR department stand alone for purposes of legality, confidentiality, and non-biased representation.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
Am I permitted to be part of this discussion?
Jill, is that fine? I don't see any problems.
Okay.
And I'm running it, so.
Okay. I have vetted this out with legal, so Dave, I don't understand the legal issues. I don't see any there, but I would like to ask that if you're wanting to go that direction as a council, that perhaps you would be amenable to at least allow us 4 to 6 months under this proposed plan, because we are making progress. I think you'll find that it will work out fine. If not, I'll be the first to say, okay, let's go back to a full department. But I think this is a great opportunity right now to make some changes that I believe are efficient and effective.
I would be opposed to that.
Okay, so we can amend the motion? Is that,
That's fine.
Is that what you want to do, Dave?
No, I'd be opposed to what the mayor is suggesting. I think we just go forward on the motion and the amendment to the motion. So it's been motioned by Dale to keep HR in its current status, independent, and I would just move that we take a vote on that.
Okay, so would you restate the motion?
I move that we approve the ordinance amending various sections of the Murray City Municipal Code related to restructuring of the ADS Department with the amendments and leave Chapter 2.23 Human Resources Department as currently set up in City Code.
Okay, and we have a second. All right, would you take the roll?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, so the motion as amended has passed. Now, we are at the legislative report. Dale Cox, it's your first chance, so don't blow it.
I may not get a second. Well, the legislature's in session. There's several bills that affect Murray City. Moderate income housing bill, Senate Bill 34. The state contributes $20 million in 2020 to the Olene Walker Housing Loan Fund and provide low-interest loans for affordable housing. State tax proposals. There are several sales tax proposals that are on the Hill that could, if passed as is, could cost Murray City, because we really rely on sales tax as part of our budget, as a large part of our budget, and there's several different ideas up there. There's a surplus in sales tax, and they're trying to find ways to broaden the base and lower the rate to 4.45 from 4.85. I don't know if they'll be successful, but anything or any time they start moving the sales tax around, it really makes us nervous, and I'm sure it makes the finance department nervous, because we can't depend on what the outcome will be and how sales tax will affect us. There's towing reservations. There's one House Bill 164 requiring city councils to have a minimum number of members elected at large is no longer being pushed forward. We spoke to that bill. Hopefully it will stay dormant. You never know until the gavel falls what will happen. But as I pointed out in a meeting on 164, the voters of Murray in, I believe, 1981 voted on this form of government, a strong council mayor, 5 districts. So hopefully that one will stay down. Public safety firefighter Tier 2 retirement benefits is still on the front burner. Hopefully we can find a way. I personally believe that we need to find a way to fund this, work with the state, and fund this for our first responders. We'll see how that turns out. There's negotiations going on right now. There's a fiscal note on that. The state's willing to fund some of it. It'll come back to the city to fund other parts of it. But I think that's something we need to do. We need to take care of our first responders, police and fire, as they do us. Their parks and rec are important. Streets are important. All the divisions of the city are important, but most of those men and women have a 30, 40-year career to build a pension. What our police and fire see and do every day, 20, 25 years, they're pretty well burned out, both physically and really mentally. So we need to help them help us. So as that goes through, we'll keep an eye on that. Other than that, like I say, the tax bills are really important. We have to keep an eye on those, because if they're changed and we're not held harmless, the growth in sales tax won't help us. We could lose sales tax, and we've just made some great gains in the city for employees, for wages and benefits, and we've got to make sure we maintain those. So we'll see how it turns out. We've still got, how many days, Dave? About 30?
Yes, sir.
About 30 days left, so keep your fingers crossed.
30 more days. Oh, my goodness. Thanks, Dale. We really appreciate your representing the council on the Hill. You've done a great job, and thanks. How often will you be doing this presentation?
Well, it depends. You said if I blew it, I couldn't do it again. I think
You did
okay.
very well.
Yeah, and it's not just me. It's GL and it's Doug and it's Janet and the mayor that go up there. But we'll do it periodically. I don't know if we'll do it every council meeting or once a month. We'll just see if something important comes up, we'll jump right on it.
Great. Thanks, Dale. All right, and now we're at the mayor's report and questions. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Just a couple of things tonight. Jan mentioned in the committee of the whole the hands-only CPR class for the city employees, but I wanted to mention that that there is a class that's free for the public to attend this Thursday, February 21st at 6:30, right over here at Fire Station Number 1 here on 4800 South. It's hands-only CPR and how to stop the bleed. So we'd encourage the public to participate in that. Also, I'd like to report that the Parks Department was notified just today that the city has been awarded a grant for $22,500 from the Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands, and these funds are to be used for vegetation improvement along the Jordan River along the area north of 4500 South on the east bank of the
Great.
Jordan River. And then finally, I just want to just mention that I'm disappointed tonight that that the council chose to make the decision you made. As the chief executive officer of the city, I'm charged with the day-to-day operations of running this city, and I recognize and realize that you have the authority and do what you did, and I think that's I've got no problem with that. But when it comes to this part of your duties, the statute says may, not shall, and so I'm just disappointed that that you didn't see the share the vision, but we'll move forward. I just wanted to make that comment, and that's all I have.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you all.